We're continuing with our focus on municipalities. That's following the scathing report by the Auditor General. With only 41 of the 230 municipalities getting clean audits, the AG says they cannot continue operating and providing services if their financial health doesn't change. Municipal IQ Managing Director Allan joins me now to dissect just this. Kevin, good morning and thank you very much for your time. Now, your area of specialization is that of monitoring and assessing municipalities' performance. It seems, though, that municipal crisis is worsening. Some have attributed this particular problem, though, to cadre deployment, where at times individuals could be or could have very little experience and then are placed on a particular role. What do you, though, believe is at the heart of the dysfunction?
Yeah, thanks. Good morning, Fundo, and to your viewers from a cold, wet and load-shedding Joburg on my side. There's many aspects to the problem in local government. The bottom line is that we are at a point, I believe, and our data in Municipal IQ shows, of a real crisis in the sector. Many municipalities are on the point of collapse. Some, I believe, have already collapsed. And ultimately, the issue is, what is our leadership doing about it? What are they prepared to do about it? Up until now, I mean, the Auditor General points this out in a report. Leadership has not been there, and there hasn't been enough leadership both at a national level and specifically at a provincial level. Mm-hmm. And I think leadership is at the heart of the issue. I mean, we've seen that many mayors at the local level who are in charge and responsible for the municipalities that they govern, or more specifically the local councils that they govern, but they just haven't risen to the task. They have proven to be either inept or corrupt. So now we're waiting for our leaders to step in. And honestly, there's very little evidence of that.
Mm-hmm. But would you say this is the correct characterization of the problem? To say perhaps it starts with the cadre deployment, or if you will, the over-politicization of the administrative function in the municipality, where you've got a lot of cadres that are coming in, sidelining technocrats, which could possibly lead. And the problem with having the politicians there, or those linked to politicians, is that when another political party wins the election, then you have to change that leadership, where you also see a lot of stop-start. Would that be a correct characterization of some of the problems?
Yes, Mfundo, you're absolutely right, and I couldn't agree more strongly. The problem with cadre deployment is, quite frankly, it's run like poison through our municipalities, and it's been going on since the dawn of democracy. It's not only the ANC that has been guilty of cadre deployment, it has happened with other parties, but with the ANC, it's absolutely ubiquitous through ANC-run councils. And the ANC is the largest party in the country, and for many years, it dominated completely. And you write in your characterization of cadre deployment, you have a situation where you have technical functions in a municipal administration. You have people like water engineers, accountants, people who have very important technical qualifications. These people are just, they got rid of, and you have a cadre who is a connected person to the local party, or indeed to a faction of the local party. Their incentive is purely to make their political seniors happy and to make sure that that party dominates, whatever the party is, dominates the municipality. And it's been terrible. It really, we know at Municipal IQ, we've tested this with our data. There's a very, very strong correlation between municipal performance plummeting and cadre deployment. So it really has been terrible for municipalities.
Mm-hmm. And then the poor management, financial management controls. What do you make of those? Because it seems now we're seeing a growing trend that where there seems to be better financial management controls, there seems to be consultants. Why is there a struggle to capacitate these municipalities? I mean, universities are churning out accounting graduates daily, but somehow they're still struggling insofar as financial reporting.
Yes, it's also an important point. The Auditor General, in a really excellent report released last week, said that there was 21 billion rand of irregular expenditure that she was reporting on in a report. And I mean, Mfundo, just think about that, 21 billion rand. I mean, it is an enormous amount of money. And she blames poor supply chain management, poor regulation, poor financial controls for this enormous irregular expenditure. This money is not necessarily money that's been siphoned off in nefarious activities. It's actually, by and large, almost entirely an issue of money that hasn't been correctly allocated in terms of accounting or auditing, or it's money that just it's been spent, but municipalities can't exactly identify where it was spent, and they haven't accounted for it properly. And that really speaks directly to your point of the systems that are in place, not only a financial system, but other important systems as well, like supply chain management, which the Auditor General points out specifically. Poor procurement policy, poor supply chain management are at the heart of corruption and incompetence in municipalities, and it's these systems that have led to the appointment of really dodgy service providers. And she also, one more point is that she also points out that although there are vast numbers of consultants helping municipalities with their accounting systems and their audits, in very many municipalities, these consultants have not actually led, or the employment of these consultants have not actually led to an improvement of the financial controls and the financial systems in a municipality. So, you know, it's not only that we're not employing the correct people to do a job, and we're replacing people who are being paid to do something with consultants, but often those consultants are not actually able to do the job as well. And one really has to question what's happening then.
No, most certainly must. She also mentioned citizens' role in this whole accountability ecosystem. What can citizens honestly do to ensure that their municipalities are functioning well?
Well, there's two things here that citizens either can do or are doing. The first thing that citizens are doing is they're engaging in service delivery protests, which we know from, we monitor service delivery protests directly. We know they're becoming more and more violent, they're becoming more and more aggressive, and they are more and more out of control, service delivery protests. That's a really worrying factor, because often service delivery protests target municipal assets and municipal buildings, which we just can't afford to lose. So that's what citizens are already doing. And one of the main reasons they're doing this, Mfundo, is that they're feeling frustrated with their lack of opportunity to engage with the work of a municipality. They don't feel that a municipality is delivering to them, and they don't feel the processes that are in place are helping them. And, you know, there are, in terms of the Systems Act, there are a number of processes which are there to make sure that communities are engaging in the process. And in theory, these processes are really good. But in practice, a lot of the processes that are in place to ensure participation of communities are really token. They don't really enable or empower communities to engage properly with municipalities. And yet again, it's another systems issue. The system of participation in municipalities that are in big trouble, those that are on the verge of collapse or collapsed already, those systems of participation are just non-existent.
It's honestly a very sad state of affairs, as I said a bit earlier. Kevin, thank you very much for your insights. That Municipal IQ Managing Director, Kevin Allan. Now,